Hi guys, welcome to the Almost Graduate
Hello,
Show.
hello, hello.
I hope you guys are having a great day. We have an amazing lineup today. We have Daniel, we have Alicia Dennis, we have Xiao San, and we have Sharwin.
Yes, I
All right,
came to crash the party again as
as
usual.
usual,
I
as
think you guys
usual.
getting sick and tired of looking at my face. I think I need to do something.
So I'm hoping, as usual, for the Almost Graduate Show, as well as the Me series that we do, most often and not weekly or bi-weekly, we try to keep it as casual and interactive as possible. So feel free to ask questions as and when you wish, and we'll direct them to our lovely panel that we have here today. Okay, so that they can share their experiences. Today, we're just looking at discussing about internship experiences and how they felt about it, what has changed. Because we have Sharvin, who actually did his internship about a year ago. Sharvin, you did your internship, as well as Daniel and Alicia did their internship during COVID, and they have actually progressed. Daniel is already working, so I will allow them to introduce themselves and give you a bit of understanding about who they are. All right, so maybe we can start with Daniel.
Thank you, Cheryl. Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel. Right now, I'm working in the digital marketing team for Taylor's University, which is also the university that I graduated from. Fun fact, I do not have a degree. I studied the American Degree Transfer Program. So I did the 2 years in Taylor's, but I didn't go overseas. So basically,
Oh,
I am working without any qualifications.
Nice.
that's
That's
a
a
fun
re-
fact indeed.
that's a
So,
really interesting fact.
all right, can we have maybe Sharvin, and then we'll end with Alicia.
Yep. Hi, hello guys. My name is Sharwin. So I actually studied chemical engineering in UTHM, but now I'm working in finance department in IBM. Don't ask me why. Like just happens. Yeah.
Don't
So
ask me
hi.
why. Ask him why later. Ask him. Yes, Alicia, go ahead.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Alicia. Currently just finished internship like last month, and I study. I'm actually a final graduate of. I need. Wait, what's my degree? Degree in mass communication. Yeah,
See
You
that we
have
have
no
all the
idea.
lecturers here.
Yeah.
it's been a while, miss. It's been a while.
Oh wow. Holy
So,
crap.
so it's the COVID that took over, is it? The COVID
Yeah,
took over.
definitely took over my brain, miss.
So we have Raja with us. Everyone say hi to Raja. So Raja joining
Hi.
us
Hi,
today, Raja
Raja.
Udaya.
Oh my god.
Okay. So very first simple question, right? If you guys could sum up your internship experience in just 2 words, what would that be?
Self-directed.
Okay.
New
Alicia?
people.
New people? Okay, Sharvin?
Chaotically fun.
Chaotically fun. Very
Wow.
smart. I see how you're going, Alicia. Very, very smart. She's from what background very easily from her answer. Okay, maybe you guys can give us a bit of an understanding about what kind of internship y'all were in. What did y'all do? A bit of the task before we go into why you chose the internship that you did. Yeah. So anyone go ahead.
Okay, I think I'll go first since my word was what came first earlier. So it's what's still fresh in your minds. I'll go. So self-directed. I said that because actually, as I mentioned previously, I'm not a degree holder. I did American Degree Transfer Program, which means I don't have the things that a degree would give me, such as the knowledge, skill sets, or the theories, everything that I would get from a normal degree. I wouldn't be able to apply to my workplace. So a lot of the time I wasn't able to, I'm not like the other graduates where I can just transfer my knowledge. Instead, I had to, when I was interning, I had to pick up on a lot of what my work was doing. I had to, direct myself a lot of the time. I was not given a lot of direct training. I mean, I had guidance, sure, but everyone is too busy doing their job. So I just had to shadow, pick up, and observe as much as I could. So that's why I said self-directed.
Okay,
Mm.
very interesting. Self-directed.
Just curious, Daniel. Just want to ask, since you say you have an American degree transfer program, right, and you're now working, right? So what happened to the transfer program after that 2 years? Will it expire? And then, if suddenly you say you want to continue your studies, what happened?
Yes, actually, it will expire if I do not pursue, if I do not transfer into a degree program within the next, I think 2 or 3 years or so.
Okay.
Which is quite bad
Still have
because
time. You have 2 to 3 years to decide.
You have time. You have
uh,
time.
Yeah.
actually no, I do not. I don't think I have the advantage because the reason why I did not continue was not because of COVID. It was because my parents didn't have the money to let me continue my
Oh,
studies. So
understand, understand.
I think if I were to pursue my bachelor's, I would have to start from scratch again because I think by that time
Really?
only I'll have
Even
money.
homegrown program also you have to start from scratch.
Because the program I'm looking for isn't available in Malaysia. That's why.
I
Ah,
see.
what are you
I
planning to look into?
Uh,
Some
I
really,
want to
really,
study
really what
anthropology.
criminology? Oh,
close enough.
anthropology.
Anthropology, yeah, close enough.
Hmm.
Anthropology.
I
I think
think
that's
USM has a
really
course actually.
Monash offers one, what?
There is
Oh
a
no, but
little
not
bit of
Monash Junior.
anthropology
It's
in
Monash
Malaysia.
the other side. It's Monash Australia. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll look into that.
Mm.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Monash
USM
Australia.
offers a course as well. I almost did anthropology and a combination of anthropology and sociology for my masters, and then I decided maybe I might not do it because
Actually, I
we don't have
regretted.
much people here in Malaysia that do things like that. But
I
that was like
regretted. I regretted.
15 years ago, so it was a completely
I
different scene
I
then. Yeah.
regretted. I actually should be taking anthropologist. It's just that at that time I don't even know what is anthropologist. Until I go in, I realized, oh, there's a word for this. So
Glamour. It just sounds glamorous
glamour,
to
it's
you,
so
right?
glamour. I don't know, but I should be taking that. Okay, but thanks. Yeah. I think I screwed a bit the question already. Can I continue?
So Alicia, let's bring Miss Yi back into it.
It really brings you to fantasy land.
Going back
Right.
to way long ago. Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Okay.
what kind
What
of
was the question?
internship? What kind of internship or what kind of company
Internship.
and which area? What kind of task did you do in your internship?
Okay, the internship that I went to, I did not expect it at all. It's just that when I went for it, it's an advisory, basically an advisory company where it is basically the gateway for ASEAN. Those who want to expand their business into Malaysia, that's where they come in. They will share plans and all of that. Then for me, I have the position of the communication assistant, where not only do I attend meetings, where I become the picture, the presenter for our plans, what we're gonna do, who we are, and also not just as a speaker, but also I do copywriting, like whatever we post on our social medias, that's what we do. And not only that, we also, how should I say, we also put in our opinions on like the designs of the presentation slides. And it's a lot. We also do marketing as well, surprisingly, when I entered. And then, and also, it's not just about our specific field. We also were given the opportunity to share our own ideas for our projects, for our meetings with the clients and all that, and also for our own like I'm under the media team, and we expand our own media team, basically like what's the next plan for that media, not just for the advisory firm as well. So it's quite interesting. It's very diverse and full of variety, so it's not what I expected during internship.
Yeah, I can tell that actually this company seems to be treating the internship quite well because they're giving opportunities for them to actually experience a lot of tasks and roles that generally you will only experience it when you're working.
Yeah,
For
everything is
intern
hands-on.
position.
That's the most
Yeah.
important thing for an intern to experience.
Yeah, because usually interns, a lot of companies are a bit, how do you say, careful about letting them making decisions and proposing for ideas and also or even meeting clients because they always feel like interns is still too new to actually prepare them for all this exposure. But by right, I feel that they should be given this because that's the whole point of internship because you're supposed to
Exactly.
learn. Yeah, but a
Because
lot of times some companies are a bit worried about that. So that's good actually. That means the company really gives you the exposure, much needed exposure given.
I'm very
Yeah.
curious to hear about Sharvin's
Sharvin.
internship experience because from where he's working right now, what he studied, and personally knowing Sharvin, I also know his internship experience was quite different as well. So please
Yes.
tell us.
Okay. If you think, because what I study is chemical engineering, right? If you think what I'm doing now is totally unrelated, then what I did during my intern is far away from that. So apparently, I study in Johor. My hometown was in Perak, and I have some relative in Selangor area also lah. But then I decided to go to have an intern in Penang. I mean, I didn't decide on the company first. I decide on the place first. Then I find the company because I want to stay at Penang like for I think there's 1 month. Yeah, I still have a few friends. I only have a few friends there. Then I start applying for company in Penang, and then I got one company called Escatec Electronics. It's like a electronics circuit making company, but I got in the quality control department because of one of the subject that I took is quality control. So
Mhm.
apparently I got to go there, and since I know nobody is there and I have to find a place to stay, all of it alone lah, like going to work this one, yeah, all over. So what I did is I contacted my friend, my matriculation friend. I asked him to stay at his house for a few days, and we searched for a house. Then I shifted to a rent house. That all happened in 1 month. I just walked to the company nearby. I find the rent place nearby the company. Every morning I will wake up right around 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. because I need to start work. It's at the Bayan Lepas Perindustrian area near the
Mhm.
WD and all that big company. So my company also was inside there. So it's a good experience. I mean, that's why I mentioned I meet new people because the house owner, even the house owner I met, I didn't know her, but every night she invited me to eat at her house. So it's more like we become family already. From stranger become family. So and
Oh,
even at the workplace, I have no idea what to do also because mostly it's on electronic. What I
Yeah.
studied is quality control, but it is quite different lah. But then the people at the company taught me like how to do this, and I can observe the how is the situation at the industrial area, like I can get
Mm.
the feeling beforehand before I actually like got a job. I go there, I don't like, then I resign. I feel internship is more like a chance given to you to know
yeah,
your workplace better. If you don't like it, you don't need to choose that place as your future job.
true,
Yeah.
true, true.
It's like
So
a
yeah.
test drive, right? You get to
Yeah,
test
that's right.
drive
True.
what it's
Yeah,
like. And,
True.
and and that brings me to my next question, which actually Sharvin has kind of answered, right? How you choose your internship. For Sharvin, he chooses his internship based on
based on
location.
location.
So he says,
Yeah.
"Oh, I like Penang, so let's try Penang." You know, Sharvin, I
I
completely
wish I
agree
could
with
do
you on
that,
Penang,
man.
but I love Penang. So anything to do with
Uh,
Penang, I'm all for it. Regardless, I lived in Penang for a lot of my life, my student life as well as my working life before being pulled to KL and having been stuck here since. Okay, but Penang is an amazing place to work and stay. I feel. I mean, even though it's extremely congested. So
yeah.
going to the choosing the internship, right? What about the both of you? Because you see a lot of students that we know, because both of us work at a university, and we have worked in different universities as well. Xiaosan and myself have worked in different universities as well. We notice like internship students usually like to choose very different from Charvin. Choose what's closest to their house. Like
Yeah,
nearby,
Okay.
I can
Yeah.
still have mommy's cooking,
yeah,
I can get mommy
yeah,
to dry my clothes, take care of me.
yes.
So they always look for the convenience and the closest, even if it's not related. Yeah.
Actually, to
Yeah.
be honest, it's not only students. I will say that I actually know friends as well. The
Yeah,
reason they
yeah.
choose based on location, they want
Less
to choose
risk,
location that has less, that's much closer to their house.
convenient. So what
Yes.
about both of you, right? How did you guys decide on your internship? Was it you just like send like 50 resumes out and you just like, okay,
And
eeny,
then the
meeny,
first one
miny,
who
mo?
answer me, it's
Okay, got
good
it,
deal. That's
let's
it,
go.
Uh,
How did you guys decide on your internship? What was the process like?
It was, for me, it was crazy because not only that, we have our deadlines, right? Like when we have to
Yes.
yes,
submit and all of that,
yes.
the typical requirement.
The
For me, it's
confirmation
like,
of your internship.
exactly. So not that also puts pressure. And then we also had finals and we were like, okay, what's gonna happen? So for me, I actually wanted to go find companies in KL since I have a house in Kajang as well. And I don't mind driving and all of that. And I didn't want to work in Johor. I don't know why. I just don't want to. This is also another part of my home. I just don't know why. And so I specifically searched for like KL, anywhere near there, except for Shah Alam. I cannot drive that far. And when I finally picked my place, of course they have to reply to me. Okay, we're interested for an interview. Come over. I'd be like, okay, fine. And they said Sentul, and I was like, I'm only familiar with Johor and Nilai. That's it. Other than that, I'm fine. I'm not good. So I was like, what is Sentul? And apparently it's like in the middle of KL. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, never mind. Let's go. These people are calling me. Just do it. And when I went there, I was like so scared. It was a new environment, and I was like, hey, I really don't know what to do. The place is very it's all roads that I do not know. It's like a maze. So I felt like, okay, what happens, just do it. I went for the interview. The interview was fine. The person who interviewed me was really nice, and he was listening to what my values were. And I also asked him. I also told him that the culture that I found out in the internship website was really good. And I was like, because I am really interested in culture a lot. So when they mix up with like international students and then local students, so it looks really, how should I say, fun in a way to me. And their requirements, of course, PR and all of that. So yeah, in the end, I just went for it. I said, when do you guys would give me an answer for this offer? And he was like, oh, we'll accept you right now if you would accept us. And I was like,
Wow.
okay. Yeah, I was so shocked. I was like, okay, then I'll let you know. And that happened. And the thing is that after working there, I got lost so many times. I swear to God, because I do not know Sentul area. I do not know KL area at all. Imagine from Sentul, my house is in Kajang, okay. From Sentul, I got lost in Mont Kiara. I have no idea where Mont Kiara is.
And
Oh my God, that
don't
is
get
like
me
way off.
started. Don't get me
Exactly.
started. Don't get me
I
started,
was-
okay? If you see where I'm working right now, where I'm staying right now, don't get me started about it, okay? But yes, I understand about that point. But I guess the only way for you to figure it out is you remember one road, and then back and forth you just go
Exactly.
to that place, right? You don't even want to go out of that place because you're scared you're going to get lost. Yeah, I understand that. Yes.
It happened too many times. So yeah.
That is very different from me. Every day I'll try a new road. The fastest way,
Time to try
the
a
less
new
What
road.
if you
way.
what if you get lost and then you get late to work? Hello?
It's an adventure. So,
Adventure. I don't think
but
calling
but
I don't think calling your boss and say, hi boss, I think I'm kind of lost.
I will do
I'm
it
gonna be
after
late."
work. I'll do
Okay,
it after
after
work.
work, okay.
I got no
Not
time after
before.
work. I'll be stuck in the jam.
Yeah, she
Depending on
probably
the
have to
time.
go through
Depending on the
she
time.
probably
Yeah.
have to go through a huge massive jam.
I
Daniel.
understand because I worked in what do you call it, a golden triangle in the heart of KL, so totally understand. That's where Inti KL is. So you get smacked in that jam, that triangle jam everywhere. So you stay late thinking you will have no jam, and you're in bigger trouble because you made a huge mistake. You probably reach home at like 2 in the morning. Okay, so
Yes.
yeah,
Daniel.
let's move to Daniel. So Daniel, how did you choose your internship? You're not very far off from home, are you?
Okay, how did I choose my internship? I actually cannot really answer that because, to be honest, I did not actually choose my internship. Actually, my internship chose me. To put it quite precise. So basically, long story short, the department that I'm working for right now, they did a project where they needed to interview some students, and then they needed a student volunteer to help them be the interviewer. So okay, I got called to be the volunteer, so I did it. I worked with them. The person that I was working with is actually my current supervisor, Lee An Jun. So I was working with her directly, and I had no idea that this woman is going to be one day be my boss. I just, okay, I'll just do this for them and, just do my best and, just be another regular day at Taylor's University. So I was being the interviewer, interviewing students. And then, so it was all done and settled. And I think she took notice of my work ethic and just how I carried myself. So she was actually happy with working with me. So she actually contacted me and said, hey, Daniel, how would you like an internship with us? The team would love to have you. Now I thought, I'm not looking for an internship, but why not, right? Like self-growth and professional growth is really important. So I just took it. and one thing led to another, and here I am working for them full time.
Wow.
That's a very nice. It's so nice to say, I didn't choose them, they chose me. I mean, how cool
Wow,
is that, right? You go
that's
and
a
go like,
perfect
how do you
Instagram
know this
caption,
job?
though.
Well, they recruited me, they called me, they wanted me.
Yeah.
It's a nice feeling to have, I think, and it affirms the fact that you are doing something good and you're doing something really, really awesome, because then people are recognizing you. And I think that is a very good point for students, final year graduates, or even first years, right? Coming out to know that sometimes when you do something like you did it on a volunteer basis, not never expecting anything in return, but here you have someone who has recognized you for what you've done. And why we've called you on the show as well is because of that as well. You were like the first person, the first few to actually sign up from outside of Inti when we did the Lighthouse project, a year or two back, right? You're the first person, and I have to tell you guys this, yeah. I have to tell you guys this. I think Sharvin knows because Sharvin knows Daniel. Daniel is one of the participants. He came by bus, guys. Okay, and to make things even more, what's the word?
Memorable,
Memorable, right?
Yeah,
memorable.
yeah,
He came with crutches, guys.
yeah.
Crutches. Think about the
Wow,
determination.
the
The
dedication, though.
determination. Yeah, the
Yeah, so I still
determination is
remember
really
it.
And
is massive.
and I remember he had class, right? He had class. So he told me that, I'm sorry, Cheryl, because we met, I think we met on LinkedIn, right, Daniel, earlier to that. And he says, Cheryl, I'm sorry, but, I have class, so I will come somewhere in between. And this is the guy I've never met before. He says he's coming for the event and he's got class halfway. So I thought probably he won't come because, it's like halfway. He's going to
Yeah,
miss
true.
almost half the day. So he comes. Then I see he's having crutches with him. So first of all, he's come like he's missed half the day, but he's willing to come even though he's missed half the day, and he's coming with crutches. And I was like, oh my god, this this boy has such determination, and he's so passionate. And we've also been kind of following each other after that on LinkedIn, and I see that he puts a lot of effort in what he does, and I really salute that. So I think you're really on the right track, and I think it's an important message to the students out there that you need to put yourself out there. And I think Sharvin as well has done that consistently. You've put yourselves out there beyond your university. That is why people from different sectors are actually recognizing you. And maybe later on we'll speak to Sharvin about that as well. I think it's a very interesting story on even how he got hired as well. Yeah. So thank you very much,
How
Daniel.
many
And I
questions
think,
have you prepared today? Because I'm
oh,
dying to ask a question.
go ahead, go ahead. Anytime, as long as it's not X-rated.
No, the question I'm dying to ask is not to them. My question to ask is I'm dying to ask is to you, Cheryl.
No, you
Oh.
cannot
How
ask me this
Whoa,
question.
whoa, whoa.
How was your internship experience? Can you share with us a bit?
Yes, yes.
Nice one, nice
We'll
one.
come to that later on. We'll come to that boring stuff, boring stuff.
Boring. Okay.
Okay, let's go with that. We have time later on. We'll definitely revisit that, right? So, guys, you guys has been through. I mean, you guys have been through this internship experience, right? And you probably have experienced a lot of different things as well. No doubt for Daniel, you're in Taylor's, right? It's not very far from where you studied. I mean, it's probably like a few meters away from where you studied, right? But what because when you go and join the working world, whether you're in the same location or not, it doesn't matter, right? Working is working and being a student is being a student, right? What do you think is that changes that you see? What was so different about working life compared to your student life? What do you think, if you can share like three main lessons that you've learned, right? The differences from your student life to your working life. What was different? Hmm.
Me get a
Oh,
pen and paper and think
yeah,
about it.
you need to
Wait,
note
You give
the
them such
the
a
question.
difficult task to go and think about. Isn't my question faster and easier?
Come on, guys, it's not so hard. I just said, how is it different?
it's not hard.
what
It's
are
just
three
that
things we
to
learned?
pinpoint the
Yeah,
specifics.
yeah, yeah. Three
I think
things,
maybe
right?
I think maybe one of us can do
Go ahead.
one. Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Ah,
Okay,
Yeah.
one of it.
Right. Yeah.
Darwin,
Okay.
Go
so
So
much,
ahead.
man.
E.
okay. So I start first. So for me, right, is freedom.
Okay.
So during student life,
Mm.
right, we do have class, we do
Mm.
have assignment, but that time we'll have more freedom, more time. I don't know why. We do have assignment, we do have plenty of work, but as soon as our friend invite us to mama or to go to anywhere to watch movie, just straight away we don't care about anything. Okay, no problem. I continue this later. Then we just go. But then now, in work, it's more difficult to
Yeah.
be acting that way. Even if your friend calls you and asks you, "Hey, let's go dinner tonight," I say, "Oh, cannot. Tomorrow I have a work. I need to get up early." Even you have class at 8 a.m. Also, you wouldn't say to your friend like that.
You see, Xiao San?
But work,
You see what we
yeah.
have to deal with?
But work is work, so we still need to sleep early and do all that early, and still need to finish on time. We cannot go out without our manager's permission. Need like if you want to take a leave, also need to like plan it earlier, like 1 week. Yeah, so for me, it's freedom. Hmm.
So, Sharvin, do you think it's because of the mindset that has changed, or because you feel that, this I can get fired from, class I can't get fired from? What is the lecturer going to do to me? Most worst, she's going to scold me and nag me for a little, but tomorrow I can come back and it'll be fine. What's the rationale behind that?
I think most probably is because responsibility. Because during the student time, right, we are the one who taking out our money. We are the one paying university, so it's our money. So that time is because it's our money. So we have an inner self that says it's our money, so it's not just too strict. We can be flexible with it. But we working, other people are offering us their money for the work that we do. So in case if we miss to work or something, there will be other people who need to do the job. Like if in work you will know, like if one people MC, then if the company doesn't have a quite
Enough
a good
water.
structure, yeah, enough people, then the other person will be need to be doing like a 3 or 4 person's job. So that is like, for me, is for the person that take MC is irresponsible if sudden not MC lah, I mean like just taking holidays according to the legend, not really MC. Like MC is a necessary thing. So in that case, if we compare the students and working life, it's a transition lah, transition of responsibility. In which
Yeah.
in the working life, the responsibility is
So,
higher.
Sharon, are you looking forward to your after work events and activities more these days when you're working?
When I'm working, right, I think the day passes by quite fast. During the student time, I don't know how, but we have a plenty of time to go to a lot of events. But during the working life, it's not a same cycle, but it always feels similar. Like you go to work like to 6, then your body will automatically feel tired. Then you go back to your room, then you just scroll a few posts, and then the time is up. Take your dinner, you sleep, and the cycle continues. I try to, like, maybe in the weekend I try to go out with events and so on, but I will say it's definitely lesser than the time during in the university lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So,
The other two?
Daniel, are you ready?
I think
Yes,
he got a
I
lot
am.
of point already.
He's like, oh, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Yes, I am.
Got his pen and paper.
Really, props to Sharwin for saying 1 point per person. That really saved me, man. Honestly. Okay. So my point is okay. Before I say my point, just a little bit of context. Every one of us are living different realities, right? Like if you were to
Yes.
compare yourself with your friend who probably grew up a different background or different life altogether, your reality and their reality, even though you guys share the same earth reality, you guys don't share the same life reality, right? Okay, so that's the context. Okay, so what I've learned
Very
is
deep. I like that.
thank you. So what I've learned to be different from my student life and my working life is that you've guessed it, different realities lah. So in your student life, in your student reality, I would say you have a lot more freedom, not just in terms of time, as Sharwin mentioned, but also freedom in terms of you being able to express yourself because your immediate society are your peers. So you're meant to be yourself and show who you really are so that you can find your true friends and all that, right? But if you go into the working world, you're in a working reality, and in that working reality, you're supposed to be yourself, but you have to reach that sort of moderation where you're both yourself and also work appropriate at the same time. So you have to ensure that you show the right angles of yourself to your now working adult peers. So your immediate societal environment has drastically shifted. You have different expectations placed upon you. You have different kind of perspectives, and these kind of perspectives, hold true during your student life as well. But in your working life, they hold more weight because they could be your boss. They could be someone from a different department that could say that I don't think this person is working very well, or things like that. So I would say the reality that you're now newly placed in is a new ball game. I would say everything has more weight.
So you said Earth reality and life reality, am I right?
Sorry, say that again.
You said Earth reality and life reality, is it?
I think that's an example that he's trying to exemplify about the differentiation of
example.
reality.
Thank
Very,
you.
very interesting. I like that concept of it, right? It
That's
really
the
it really makes
anthropologist of him in there. That's the anthropologist of him in there.
nothing
Okay.
is wasted in life. The knowledge you learn, whether you like it or not, indirectly will be applied. And we see that in Sharvin as well when he helps us out. Sharvin has worked on some of our projects before, and we can see that engineering side of him come out as well.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
What about you, Alicia?
Both good points, both are relatable, definitely. But for me, on a personal level, I would say it's kind of like the difference is that you are reborn as a different person entirely. For me, I feel it entirely. Like my college life, how I lived and how I started to adapt to the working life is totally different. But what I learned is that this was in my mind actually for quite a while, is that an internship allows you to actually show another version of yourself that you don't really show in university, at home, your family, everything. It's like, I know this part of me is like, actually it's quite good, and I haven't had a chance to show it. Maybe there's barriers, maybe someone has outshined you more back maybe in university or whatever. So being in an internship, especially like not with your friends and whatnot, I chose to not be in the same internship as my friends, is where that I get to show the best side of me. That's the whole thing. That's like a rebirth to me. That's how I would word it actually. It's kind of like I can how should I say it? Execute my values in my head onto like my work, that kind of thing. It's like I actually have a lot of ideas, but this time I can actually let it all out. And they kept on saying like mistakes can be made, but lessons are learned. That's what I learned in my company. As long as you learn your lesson, you're doing something right. That's the most important thing. So all in all, that's the whole thing different in class and also in office. Office, you're consistently changing, evolving day by day. Actually, in class, it's like, okay, I change now, and then I'm back to my old self. Change now, back to my old self. That's what I've been seeing basically. So yeah, that's my simple statement about the difference between class and work life.
So guys, tell me, right? Because we are teachers, right? I want to know from that mindset, right? How is it that, so you're talking about there's different dimensions, right? So are you saying that you are a different person when you're in class, or you're the same person? Is just that you are not showing off these things, or you don't feel that you can show off these things, or you don't want? What is that dimension there, or why is it that you feel you can't do it in a study environment and you can do it in a workplace environment? Because you brought up something very interesting, right? You said mistakes can be made, but lessons can be learned. And we always say in class that this is where you should make your mistakes. Why? In my experience, not so much internship or work experience, my boss told me that this is not where you make mistakes. You make mistakes, you get fired. That's what my boss told me. Of course, we are living in a very different generation now, right? And your bosses are also quite different depending on where you work and whether your boss is a millennial, whether your boss is a Gen Z. I mean, not rare and not impossible to have a boss which is Gen Z these days. Yeah, you can have a boss who is a teenager these days. But you know, whether you have a baby boomer as a boss, that also kind of decides the kind of mindset or environment that you will have. Yeah. So what do you guys think is that? What's that difference that makes you this person or that person?
I think because in my workplace, the chairman isn't actually a millennial. He's not exactly that young. If he's watching this, hi. But
Hi.
It's like, hi, I
He's
wish you
a
could, close off, close your ears for a
Can you
while
switch
I'm
this off for a few
editing.
minutes and
Yeah.
come back later after
Like
commercial
maybe go
break?
for a toilet break first before you come back. Yeah.
but I'm of course he's a good person. He's a good boss, and he's not millennial. He's not exactly young, but he's young at heart. And his mindset is very far, like far ahead. He's thinking beyond. I'm so impressed, and I give him a lot of my respect because he's also thinking in a young person's perspective. So sometimes age doesn't like play in this kind of thing. It's all about your mindset. Entirely, the whole situation right now is all about the mindset. And he's the one who tells the interns at our place is that make mistakes, but also learn your lessons. As long as you learn your lesson, you're doing good. That's it. So I think it's all about the morals that you've learned, maybe your upbringing and whatnot, what you've gone through, the people you mix with is really influenced that part. To me.
Okay, that's
I
really
feel that
really
it could be. I feel that it could
intriguing.
be also that the stakes are higher when you're working, because like what Sharwin is saying, as well as what Daniel was applying as well. The reason why they're seeing it a very different way is because number one, there's more commitment and there's more responsibilities at stake when you're working compared to when you're studying. I feel, because like you say lah, how bad can it be if I'm studying and if I miss my class today? What's the worst could happen? But if you compare, if we are working, what's the worst could happen if I missed one day's work? Bye bye. Like bye bye, you're fired, like the Trump say, you're fired, the kind of thing. So yeah, so I guess the stakes are higher, and I think
Yeah,
the commitment and the responsibilities are heavier. So I guess
it
that's why
changes
the
your
way they see
discipline
things,
also.
yeah,
Changes
the
your
way they
discipline.
see things will be very much different. I think lah. I feel lah. I mean, that's how I feel. When I'm working in comparison to when I'm studying. But then again, when I'm studying, I'm not a bad student lah. So I
You
will never
hesitated.
She's a
understand
very
lah.
she's one
I'm
of
the
those.
I'm the I'm like this.
Bookworm.
I'm like this. I'm like this. Oh, every day I'm like this. So it makes no difference whether I'm working or not. I think I treat everything too seriously. I guess that's why. I feel so sad. So by mentioning that, I suddenly feel so sad. Okay, need to self reflect a bit already.
But guys, this is more of a lesson for us as educators, right? What do you think the educators can do in order to get you guys to have that mindset at class rather than to wait for you to go? Because maybe you guys are more well, maybe y'all are more prepared, as in you have the ability to, but you haven't showed it in class, or maybe you showed it. Like I've seen, I mean, I've taught Alicia, so I've seen those qualities as well. But a lot of them don't show it, and they go to work and then they show, oh, I actually can, right? So, but not all students might have the capabilities. Like you hear people dropping out of Harvard, and you go like, I can be like that too. I can drop out of Harvard, but you forget that, you're, like
Not
what
everyone is
Daniel
Mark Zuckerberg.
that we don't share that same realities,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
what do you think lessons, right, that maybe educators can learn in order to kind of bring students to that level in the classroom? Do you think there's anything we can do? I mean, I'm just asking, since you guys have been through it, right? What do you think can change in the classroom that would make you guys actually show that side of you in the class instead of waiting all the way? Because not everyone might have that same, again quoting Daniel, realities, because you might go to work and you might stumble really badly. Not everyone is at the same level. Maybe your background, your family background, your mom has prepared you, your entire life has prepared you for that internship, not just school. But not everyone has that. But when they see, we always look at people and think, ah, yeah, we also can, we'll just chill and wait, and then when time comes, we will shine, and then we fall. So what's your advice? Do you have any advice for us? The Chegus?
Because okay,
Chegus?
so for me, right, Cheryl, I
Yeah.
think it's a good question because I think during my university years, what makes a student to like really unleash their potential within the class is depends thoroughly on the teachers and also the lecturers on how they treat the class. Like for example, like Cheryl, I know she always encourages her class to join all these activities that she organizes, or also the outsider organizers, which is more like motivation session or like financial education, which is a extra curricular kind of activity. So I think that is a great like exposure, and also it brings out the interest in the student. Not they will just think like, okay, it's Cheryl class. If I go to this class, will I have learned something new, or will Cheryl only read from the slide? Okay, so yeah, that's basically my point. Like, you must have like, even if I go to the class, like, can I join in something new? Like, maybe you can integrate even the event in your class itself within your subject that you're teaching. You can like do some kind of event within the subject itself. Like, you appoint each of the class member to handle this department. I think it will be a good learning compared to everyone just reading and also doing the same thing over and over again until the exam came lah.
Kelsey is laughing because what you've said is what we've done with with a lot of our projects actually, and the slides, right? I mean, I think if you speak to my students, they will say, Sharvin, ask her to use slides, lah, please.
You are one exception, I think.
I don't use slides. I tell them I want them to listen, So I want them to discuss. They were like, oh yeah, I must use my brains again. I remember my professional development class last semester. You know what they said to me? They said, Miss, I've never been for a class where I have to think so much. My brain hurts.
Serious.
So anyway, before we move on, right, to the two of you, we have a question. Should we take that question first? You're good with taking that question?
Yeah,
So, have you guys ever experienced something totally opposite from your expectation during your internship? Like your prejudgments gone wrong?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Totally.
Can you all maybe share? Because I'm sure it'd be very useful to those listening, right?
I see Daniel is shaking his head, which means maybe he has no prejudgments gone wrong. He already know what he's expecting, basically.
That's his sociology background. He anticipates. So yeah, this question is from Raja Udaya, yeah?
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Actually,
Daniel.
okay.
Daniel, if you start first, yes.
Sorry. Yeah, actually, I had no expectations. So it's not that I knew what was going to happen. It was more like I have no idea what's going to happen, and I'll just accept everything that comes my way. So I have not experienced anything like this, lah. Yes. Okay. Sorry, Sharwin. I cut you off. Please be the next guy.
No problem. Okay. So for me, right? Okay, so for me, actually, for my internship, right, the one I mentioned in Penang was my short internship. I also did another round of internship, the real one. That this time is near my hometown, near my house, because I knew that I will choose a work which is far away from my house. So I want to spend a little bit time here also lah. So actually, I chosen to be. I don't think it's a place for internship. People will be surprised. It's KFC. I intern in KFC, just near my house one. So what I experienced there is like I always thought the work was easy, but I told you the work in F&B department, whew, you can die there.
I
told
agree.
you, I got lost, and I thought to myself that
Everything
this
is
is
easy,
I would
right?
never have imagined this from sitting an outside point of view of a customer point of view to the person working inside there. And then I thought to myself, if I ever want my son to learn how hard is it to work, I will let him to work in F&B first. Definitely, I will let him work in F&B, so he
That's a
can know the value.
brilliant idea.
Be a scary daddy. Shawi's going to be a scary daddy. He's going to military train his kids, basically.
I just say, okay, you can do whatever you want, you can buy whatever you want, but first you must work here. Like that.
You buy whatever you want, you earn your own money by working there.
Yeah. True.
What do you think,
That's
Elisa?
fine.
Do you have any answers to this question?
I would say, yeah. I experienced something totally opposite. Definitely, for us students, we have this basic problem where during lunch I'm gonna eat alone. Confirm, I'm not gonna make friends on the first day. I'm so nervous. Seriously, I was like in my car waiting because I reached early. Like my work starts at 9. I came like around 7, so I was like really. I was like really nervous. I don't know, are they gonna be nice? How's the boss gonna be? What's the environment and all of that? But once I got used to it, like around a few weeks later, turns out actually it's not that bad. But that also depends on the internship that you go for, of course. And there are some friends I know that also struggle with the commands of their bosses, their supervisors, and everything. We understand but we all have to understand that this is an internship, and like one of us said, you don't have to go for that job as your permanent job. It's just a place of learning, regardless whether you get negative experience or positive. It's all about learning. That's all, and what choices you're gonna make after that. That's it.
That's a very, very, very good point. It's not forever, and that applies to everything, not just internship but jobs. And some people feel that they went into a wrong job, and that's it for life. They're stuck. But as you said, not even though it's not internship, it's not permanent. There's always a choice. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys. Going back, Sharvin answered us when it came to any advice you have for educators in terms of the mindset change, right? Do you guys have anything to add on that, Daniel or Alicia?
I think it's because of as mentioned again, it's all about the students' mindset. Because how we see you guys, educators, are just the same as how we came from high school as well. You guys are our teachers, our lecturers, our educators. And what I realized that when I went into internship, I see them as like, okay, these are the bosses, the management, these are my colleagues, and all of that. So I'm not sure what we can do to change how the future students would see for educators, and maybe have the educators come sit down together with the students. It's really hard, to be honest. I've studied with you, with Missy, Miss Cheryl, and you guys are doing quite a lot. Actually, like all of our events, basically, especially the professional development course, where it's really needed for us before we go into the working life. But however, it's all about the students' willingness as well, whether they're willing to be educated. Like, this is actually important. Having a photo shoot, I didn't know I have to look this professional. I didn't know I have to show it off. So when I took that photo shoot, the professional photo shoot, everyone was like, "Since when? How do you do that? That's so nice." I was like, "Because we have a course, and it's actually quite good. And whatever we learn, everything." But it's all about the mindset. Seriously, it's kind of hard because with the millennials, they're thinking like, come on lah, malas lah nak buat semua ni. And it really depends on the mindsets of the future students. So educators, fight on.
Fight on. Daniel, what about you, Daniel?
I don't think I have a direct answer to this question because I actually cannot even relate to begin with. Being in a course and being not in the position to be the kind of self where you need to be for your work. Like, I have not experienced that dilemma to begin with, so I can't really answer that question. But if I had to give it a guess, I would really think, while it is true that the mindsets of the students are definitely where it starts, I think it's also arguably just as important, or maybe at least almost as important, for the educators as well, for them to be open-minded and observant to the students. Because okay, I don't know if you guys can relate, but I only became sentient, like self-aware, when in 2017. So I don't know if you guys have been self-aware your whole life, or you reached it at some point. I don't know, but basically, I only became self-aware at 2017, and that's only when I realized I should start taking my life seriously and all that, right? So I would think that the educators, there is no exact way to achieve what you want, because every student, every institution, every context and situation and degree is different, and every workplace is so different. So I think ultimately it has to come down to not only the students but also the educators' competency to be open to learn and try new things and observe the students and be able to guide and direct the students in the direction where the students can realize themselves that they have to be what they have to do in order to be appropriate for work. And maybe one way that we can do that is giving them hands-on things, like, for example, let the students organize the Lighthouse project, for example, giving them the hands-on experience and telling them that this is what you'll be doing at work. Maybe they'll hopefully self-realize that this is what they have to start, pedaling the gear. So yeah, that's just one way. But ultimately, educators being able to observe the students and drive them in the direction that the student needs lah. That's what I would say.
So someone says, preach it, Dan, preach it. So we have a lot of people asking us to preach it. So Raja said, preach, Ali. Now we have Dan, preach, Bren. So very interesting supporters you guys have who are watching this show. I think that is amazing advice to educators out there. So educators, if you guys are listening in, remember there's no hard
I'm
and
not
fast
listening.
rule.
I'm not
Always,
listening.
always try. I mean, try different things. And sometimes what I've learned over the years, right? I mean, I've been teaching for quite a while now. I think 14, 15 years. What I've learned is that
Hush, hush.
awakening
Why are
that
you telling me
Dan
that?
is talking about happens. It's just it might not happen as fast as we want it, but it does happen. It does happen. Sometimes long after they'll be like, Miss, you said this, huh? Makes sense now, Miss. Out of nowhere, it'll just come out, And I guess sometimes it takes a trigger because when I was in uni, it was the same. There was something that triggered, like you said, right? I woke up, and sometimes you need to actually wake up, and that moment you can't listen to things at that point of time until you wake up. That is very true. Something needs to kind of
True.
spark in you, and I think you guys probably had similar experiences in terms of that wake up moment where you realize you were not always like that as well. There was some trigger
Yeah.
moment, right? So maybe Daniel, you can tell us what was the trigger moment.
I don't have an appropriate
Is
answer
there
to
a
that.
is there a drama
Appropriate?
story
Is
out
that
of this?
not
Is there
TV
an
related or
individual that changed you, or
yeah?
few individuals that changed
Is it a
you?
who? You don't have to mention names.
Okay, I don't understand how this became the trigger to make me self-aware. It's not even related at all, so I don't know how.
It
But
came from you actually. It was not part of my question list. Actually,
oh, is it? Maybe.
triggered by
Um,
by your interesting insights, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
because
I hope. I hope.
I think that is very important in order to look at how you approach internships or even life in general, right? So I think that trigger moment is important, and for people to know that it's not going to happen all at the same time or right now, you know. But what was yours, if you don't mind sharing, of course.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's just I don't understand how this trigger moment could impact me to think more seriously of my life. Basically, my ex girlfriend broke up with me, and then I
I
just
knew it. I knew it. There's a who inside that.
yeah, it's not even related to life. It's just a relationship that didn't go well, and
It
then
is. It is.
It
yeah,
is
I don't
important. It's part of the growth. It's part of your life
Part
growth,
of the growth is coming out of
Yes.
crisis. I mean, I
Yes.
don't know about you. Usually, when someone breaks up with you, you feel like you're in a hole and you can't come out.
yeah,
And
maybe.
it puts you in a position where you go like, it's okay, I can get out of this. This is nothing.
Yeah.
After you
Yeah.
go through, I mean, the many stages of grief, you come out. So yeah. I mean, I think it is related because it does have to do with life, and some of the challenges you find, which is small, actually is quite big, that would have made certain changes. Probably if that didn't happen in your life, you would probably be a different person. I
Yeah,
don't know.
definitely.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. But I wasn't even that sad, so I don't know how this even sparked. But okay,
Wasn't
but
even that
it's
sad.
all a domino effect. It's all small things leading to bigger things. The butterfly
I
effect.
think
I don't know.
I think we need to take binoculars and go back to that time and see, was it really? Because sometimes when you look back, you're like, I wasn't that sad. I mean, why did I even date that guy? Like, hello. And you
Yeah, true,
find you
true.
were like,
True.
what about Alicia and Sharvin? Did you
Darwin.
guys have that kind of moments that triggered
Yeah,
you
we
to
do.
like wake up?
We do have.
What was the moment?
Okay, so for me, right? Okay.
Also another person? Is it an
No.
individual?
This is not a person. No.
It's not a
Nothing.
who,
Nothing
it's a what.
related to breakup.
Okay.
Okay. So for me, right? So since we all know in a typical family, the parents wants us to become like normal doctor, lawyer, or something like typical family. Yeah. Okay. So since small, so I was told like, okay, you very good lah. You study very well, so you can become a doctor. So even it's not my decision, but like people surrounding you say, okay lah, you very good. You study very well in school. You got straight A and all that. Okay, you become doctor. And when I enter matriculation, right, my first sem, because it's the first time I was away from home. Even my school was a normal school, so I've always have chance to come back to house and be with parents, right? So the matriculation is the first time that we are away from home. So it feels like it's a different feeling. But then my first semester result was, I cannot say bad, but the result cannot. I mean, for you to enter a government public university to study medicine, you need to have four flat in both
Mm.
semester. Yes,
Mm.
even four flat also you cannot guarantee to get a place. But then I got lesser than that. So at that time I was like very sad. I thought like, oh, my life is, I don't know what to do in my life anymore, because it's since small, right? I want to become doctor. Then suddenly I remember, I have one neighbor. I think he likes to read a lot of books. He has some of the books lah. Before this, I never read any of like biography book. I only have like fiction novel like Harry Potter or something. I never read like a biography or financial book or anything. So that time I know that he have this one book called Rich Dad and Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So at the moment I don't I think I'm very sad. I don't know what to do. So I just decide to pick that book from him. So I just read it in my room lah. Because everybody's room, our room is just opposite. So when I read through it, I understand like it opened like, I don't know, until then the pathway was blocked. It opened a new light through it. Like I can know about finance. Wow, I didn't know we have this kind of financial situation after we go into work. Like all those rat race, how you trap working forever, but your savings is not enough to support you. And then it triggered me then, think that, oh, this is not the end. I still have a lot more. I still have a lot of option left. It's not
Yeah.
just I can become a doctor or I can become nothing. It's not just that two options, but I still have a
Yeah.
lot of options left. So I think for me that moment is some kind of like a trigger moment for me. Starting from that moment, I started to like explore different ways, and yeah, and lead it to here and still exploring. Yeah,
That's amazing. I think that's a great book to
Yeah.
read. A lot of people have
Yes.
said that
yeah.
it can be a real
Yeah.
source of kind of breaking you out of your mindset.
Mm,
And I think for you at least was early on in life. For me, it's very
yeah,
recently where I know that I don't have to do a 9 to 5 kind of job for the rest of my life. It came to me like very later, much later on in life. So I think that's a very very crucial point to bring. Alicia, do you have anything to add on?
Um, Basically, not much. For self-aware, for me, it's all about the upbringing. I'm just glad that my parents, my mother, my dad, they've always never failed to remind me there's a real world. Don't stay in the fantasy land. This is
Yeah.
actually what the real working life is. Because they were showing it. They were showing it through what they're doing. They keep on sharing, and it's important for parents to teach their kids at a young age, like what's going on. Don't just give them whatever it is, whatever they want. So it's very important to keep your children self-aware and all of that. If there are mothers watching this, or fathers watching this, please listen. Like, don't baby your kids all the time. Sometimes yes, but
Yeah.
ensure that there's reality right here. That's very that's very important. Yeah, that to me that's it basically.
Thank you. That's excellent. That's excellent. Parents, remember, love doesn't mean crippling your kids with everything they you think they need. Yeah, that's a fantastic point that I completely agree on. That's why we believe in the military way at my house. Although I get bullied by my 2-year-old. So Nas Daniel says, for me, the students should take every opportunity to learn during their internship. It's true, they have to follow their unis requirement, but also they need to explore the working environment. I think that's a very, very important thing to say because yes, it is a learning opportunity. And I think if students looked at things as learning opportunities, the way they would look at everything would completely change. Instead of looking at it as just, oh, I'm going to this work just to get money, I'm going to this university just to get this paper. If they change that mindset, I think the way they approach the situation will also change. So,
Yeah.
true.
moving to the next question, which I feel I really have to ask you guys. There's no way we can finish this whole discussion, right, without talking about COVID-19. Okay. So, we are in
Okay.
of course, we are still in the thick of the pandemic, I would say, even though we are kind of relaxing things in Malaysia now. Okay. And this is something that has, you know, kind of crippled the entire world. And internship is something like a rite of passage for students trying to kind of transition to the workplace. So, how do you think this COVID-19? Because for some of you, actually all of you, right? For Sharvin, it's while working because Sharvin has been working for about a year now, and for both of you, y'all were still doing your internship. Am I right? When COVID occurred
Ye-
and y'all had to go
Yeah.
to you all had to go and work from home, and they said no longer going physically to work. So can you kind of explain to me, after that announcement on I believe was 18th of March, right? Still in my mind, 18th of March, right, when that happened, and we all we all had to kind of start working from home, not really prepared to work from home. What was that experience like? What was that first thought that came in your mind when we got that announcement on TV saying, and maybe you got an email or text message from your boss saying that, okay, don't come to work tomorrow, and instead of going like yes, you were like, huh? I don't know, what was that experience for you?
It
Wow.
was, for me, it would be, it was like quite shocking. Like, we're gonna go on a lockdown. Okay. Then we were all informed all together, the boss together, everyone were like, okay, we're gonna suspend our work at the office for 2 weeks. I was like, okay, 2 weeks, fine. We'll come back again, no problem. Then it from 2 weeks turned to 2 months, and I was like, this is totally different.
Yeah.
When they told that we have to work from home, don't come to the office, we were like, okay, maybe we could work with this lah. But in the end, it turned out that a lot of things has changed when MCO started, and when COVID-19 came on and like ruined our social life a bit. So
A lot.
a lot, a lot, yeah. But it's truly an experience to put in history, because it does test our communication skills, to be honest.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like you start using all these platforms all online. That's where online businesses started and all of that. So it does give room for everyone to do something new. There's no one left behind in all of this, basically. So yeah, it's quite a shocker when it first started.
Okay, thank you so much, Alicia. What about you, Daniel? Are you raring to go?
Uh,
What were
uh,
things like? You're in education, right?
yes.
So what were things like? You're in a similar industry as us.
Yeah.
How did
It
things
feels like
go?
it feels like you need to see people, you need to meet people kind of person. So how do you feel when you are suddenly not allowed to see anyone?
Actually, I'm perfectly fine. I honestly,
Whatever.
yeah, honestly, I was at work and on the 18th, and then my boss said, "Okay, by the way, guys, don't come to work tomorrow. Tomorrow onwards, work from home." Yeah, it's just okay, like because we were
Was
just
your
working from
company
home.
prepared? Was your company
Uh,
prepared for working from home?
I think my company was pretty prepared. Yeah, because they're quite heavily involved in online already. So I think they were just
Yeah,
okay. Time to go full online. That's
fully
all.
online.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So I'm sorry, I cannot relate. It's just a normal thing to just work from home. I mean, it's not normal for me to work from home. It's just I don't feel the shock of
The
having to
major
be at
shock.
home all the time. Yeah.
Man, I had major shocks, man.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. So I am so sorry. I can it's like I missed the hype train for everyone feeling the shock. I cannot relate, and I feel like I'm left out. So but it's okay. It's okay.
Daniel, I don't think I feel the shock so much. The only shock I feel is like I don't have to drive all the way to work like 35 minutes.
Yes,
That part
yes,
I
me
don't miss
too.
Yeah,
at
that also
all.
I feel
And
that was the glad part, but not able
and
to
she
see
works far
anyone,
away.
right?
She
For
works
a
far
period.
away. That is the
I
funny
I
thing.
I drove all the way every day to Nilai, okay? But the fact is just that I feel like, it really breaks all my records of not going, like stepping foot out of my house for almost 2 months plus. It's a really huge, I think, a record breaking kind of scale that I never go out at all, because
Yeah.
I cannot just stay at home for 2 months,
But it's not so
It's
much work then, right? It's the whole pandemic itself and the restrictions, right? Probably if you're
yeah.
working from home in normal circumstances, things would be different as well. I
Yeah,
mean, you
yeah,
won't
true.
you won't have to spend like 3 hours to do grocery shopping, 1 hour waiting, another 1 hour shopping, another 1 hour cleaning up after shopping. You get what I mean? Things are different. We have to admit that things are different, and it's not that regular work from home kind of situation, you know. So
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
let's just take a question from the audience. We have from Nas. Nas says that, how do you guys overcome the challenges that you faced during your internship during this period? So it could be during the COVID, it could be on a normal circumstance prior to this, right? How do
I
you
think it's
guys
work
kind of
from
deal
home
with that?
period. He's asking during your internship work from home
Yeah, during your
period.
internship period. Yeah, sorry, work from home.
Mm.
How do you guys kind of face that? You all don't have any challenges in your work? Work internship? No. Daniel, what kind of can you introduce your boss to me?
I told you. I told
Well, no,
you
not in that
already.
way, okay?
From,
Just
from the
purely
word,
professional.
from the name itself, I already know what kind of.
Wow,
I already know.
young person.
Yeah, young person. So definitely a different way of encountering.
Yeah, work from
Yeah.
home, guys.
Do you face any challenges?
Any challenges?
Like is it like connection issues, or did your boss require you to actually have like a WIP meeting
Okay.
every week, virtually, to see what's your current work in progress kind of thing? Do they have that kind of arrangement done? Is there any certain kind of challenges, like you feel that if only this can be done physically, I think it's so much faster and easier? What do you think?
Yeah,
Is there
there are
moments?
some works.
Yeah,
There are
some
some
work.
works that yeah, we have to do physically.
Yep.
In my case, as a communication assistant, we do the writing and all of that. So not much of a challenge except for direct communication. So when we need like approvals, opinions, we usually do direct communication straight away. Go to the office and then come back. But now we have to like sometimes we have connection problems, the standard problems. Sometimes they are very busy with other tasks and they don't have time to attend to every single thing. So
Yep.
in that case, it's mostly communication wise. If you don't have strong internet, then you're gone. That's it. You may just lose information just like that, and you have to collect it from other people that may twist some information. You may misunderstood the information. It's a lot of things because we're all trying to conform to the new normal, as per
Yep.
se.
Yep.
So yeah, mostly physical challenges. That's it.
Mm.
Agree.
Anybody
Nothing
else?
Darwin,
Anything else
anything
to
else?
add?
So for my work perspective, I think it's just time lah. If in office, like if it's in office, for to solve a certain issue, my manager always say, don't always send email. The person is just
Just
there.
walk
Go and
over.
meet him straight away. Yeah, just walk over. You can solve your thing within like 2
I have
hours.
an
And
I have an opposite boss. Seriously, I think I have an opposite. Not the current boss, my ex bosses last time. Those like sitting right opposite me, but yet still email me. I have bosses like that.
yeah, my friend also always tell me they also have like that. Just sitting opposite
Yeah.
them, but they ask to you send email later. I check.
Yeah,
Something like
Walao.
that.
Yeah. I have bosses like that.
I've
Yes,
replied you through email. Go check. That's worse.
Yeah, something like that. But my workplace is good lah. I mean, my all the people in that place encourages you to just go and talk with the person, even if you don't know the person. My manager will
Yeah.
say, "No, no, he's just there. Go and introduce yourself, then you solve your issue. Don't send email 1 week also never satisfy one."
Yeah,
That is true,
that's
right?
true,
It
that's true,
works
that's
faster,
true.
and now with email, it kind of like lag. I mean, there's a lot of lagging because there's so much of things for people to do. I always tell my students, you have anything urgent, come see me, or get me on a call. Let's Zoom call now. I say let's Zoom call. It's faster because by the time I
Mm.
go through that email, it's going to take me a lot of time. But now I can like schedule a half an hour meeting with you, and we can just settle this issue. You see, so I completely agree with you, Sharvin. Daniel, do you have anything else to add?
Okay, well, first of all, I don't think I really had any challenge that I faced during my internship work from home period. But I think one thing that does come to mind is when you're working in a team and your teammate has to physicalize something, like let's say designing something, or they have to create something lah. And then since we're all working from home and away from each other, it's communication takes a lot longer because because you need to see the work and approve it and give them feedback directly. If you were there physically, it'll be much faster and you can make the amendments just right there and then. But
Yeah.
online, you have to compile it, send it to them, and then wait for their reply, and they'll only do it when they're free. So even though working from home has its benefits, one obvious drawback is that all of us can't settle things here and now at the spot.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Yeah, the frustrating part is when you send a WhatsApp message and it's blue ticked, double
Yeah,
blue
they don't
ticked, and like,
reply. What?
where? I'm waiting for an answer. Where is
I
it?
thought that is a millennial problem. Obviously,
Yes.
the
But
blue
now
tick
the
syndrome,
problem,
right?
yeah, but the problem now is now you cannot physically go there to their place and say, hello, please check, what's the reply. But now you're
Guys,
like just
guys,
from home,
I,
right?
I
You
hate
cannot
to
do
break
that.
it to you guys, but blue tick, the person can just change their privacy setting and they
Yeah, I
can
Yeah,
blue
know.
tick you for
Yeah,
life.
Yeah, I
You know
know.
that,
Yeah, I
right?
know. Yeah, I know.
get rid
yeah,
of
yeah,
that depression. Just off that thing. That's it.
yeah. True, true, true. But
They can just change your.
I
Yeah,
think
Daniel.
answering back to Nas Daniel's question, like how do you
Yeah,
overcome the challenge that I just mentioned? I think
yeah.
one possible solution to this challenge that I just mentioned is changing your communication to becoming more focused out. So what I mean by that is, okay, so I'm not a communication major. This is something I learned from someone on LinkedIn. She's a communications expert, and then she posts like these tips on communication on LinkedIn. So I took note of one of them. She said focusing out is basically okay. So focus in is basically you saying what you need to say to them, and then like case closed, you're done. You've done your job. You said what you needed to say, and then you move on. That's focus in. Basically, you doing what you have to do. But focus out in communication is thinking of your audience and ensuring that whatever you say in your communication it actually goes through to them. So actually, just saying it is not enough. What actually constitutes as enough is actually the other person actually processing and getting the message. So this is not easy to execute, but I think the challenge that I mentioned, how can you communicate with the other person when you're not there physically, is just try your best online to focus out. So by that I mean focus on your audience and try to say in a way that will make them do the work on the spot, maybe a video call or change the way that you structure your sentences, things like that. So that's my proposed answer to this challenge, this one challenge that I have.
I think
I
that's
think
that's a fantastic thing.
this is something that reminds me of again my ex-bosses that used to do this, the one that likes to ask to send email. He likes to, when he sends the email, even though he's sitting like right opposite us kind of thing, he expects us to reply him back in email. And when he says by replying back in email, it's not just well noted, thank you, or something like that. He expects you to write back like what exactly have you noted from my email. Like I think this is what it relates by the focusing out, by explaining, okay, noted, I need to do this and get you back by this. So then it's clear to him to say that you understand my task that I gave you. Instead of just saying noted is like an easy type and just go off, but did you really digest what his
That's like I
message
don't
is?
really want to listen to you, but I
Yeah,
have to, so I'm just replying
it's
sort of
like just
thing.
reply okay, okay, what do you mean by okay, what do you understand from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so yeah, I think that's also one tip of the focusing out part. Yeah.
Daniel, you were saying that someone on LinkedIn, maybe you can tell us who so we can direct the students to actually follow this person.
Sure. Let me just pull up her LinkedIn profile right now.
On
But
spot.
I think you're connected with her, Cheryl. Her name is
Sumati?
no
No?
Shadaitul Intan.
Shadatul Intan. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
Cheryl is connected
Shadatul.
with everyone.
Yeah.
Yes,
Have
I
to
agree
be
on that
right,
as
have to
well.
be right. If not, we don't learn. I'm also learning a lot of things like Daniel is through this kind of communication with different people. It kind of opens your mind, and that's why I'm on LinkedIn anyway. So, do you guys think like this approach to work, right, during this COVID period has changed the way you view your work, the way you approach work, the way you approach culture, your culture at work? No doubt you're not physically at work, right, but you're still working. Has that changed the culture of your work? Has changed the way you look at your work? Do you think you're more productive? Do you think you're less productive? Has there been any changes?
There, for me, there are changes because some of us have conformed that work is work and then home is home. Then suddenly you have to work from home and we have to have commitments like we have to wake up early just to get logged on and say, okay, I'm in. This is the task I'm gonna do and all of that. Do your daily reports. So uh, places of at home, I don't usually have a place to do the work. It's just that if there's a desk, I'm just gonna do it. Now I have to arrange everything, gonna make sure there's a notebook there, gonna make sure my laptop's just right there. So it really does change the normal that we used to know and all of that. The new normal as mentioned. So yeah, work from home can be done. It just takes a lot of discipline because the bed it's just right there sometimes, and you just want to just lie down. Okay, maybe I take my laptop with me and type out, and then you suddenly slip out of nowhere. It happens. We're all human. You can't blame yourself. But yeah, as long as you can adapt to a new normal, then you're fine basically.
What do you boys think? Your boys have become quiet in the beginning. They were very rah.
Well, I talked just now, so now it's Sharwin's turn.
Yeah, can. Okay,
Sharwin, it's
so
your
for
turn now.
me, yes. So for me, right, the work from home part for IBM, they always have this work from home arrangement since early on. I mean, it's part of the
Yes.
office culture. They because we work most of the work that we do, except for the sales and maintenance team that need to be at the client's place, most of the other works are all can be done remotely. And we do practice the work from home way before the COVID-19. And in fact, even before the MCO was announced by the government, our company have already, because IBM is a US company, and because of the increasing cases there, the big bosses there have already mentioned, I think it's 1 week before the government imposed the MCO, the our management have already decided to let all of us to work from home. That's why I get to like leave early even before MCO. I already get out, go out of the place, go out of my workplace. I mean, so from the work perspective, there's no much change since they've already have like a principle is already there for us to follow during work from home. I mean, we have done it before, so it's not something new. But the new aspect is that the frequency of the video call increases lah.
Yes, of course.
Yes. So I mean, like if you compare in office, maybe you'll have like only for video calls of for those in other countries. But now it's like every week there will be like at least five video calls you need to do for each. I mean, for your team member, for your other team member, and all that. Except for that, I think there's no much change. But in terms of time, there is a change lah. I mean, we are working from home now. We are not need to wake up early. Like we need to get up. We need to go wash your. I mean, I do brush my teeth and wash my face.
I should
Okay.
hope so.
I was
Yes.
like, wash your, and then he has a pause, and I was like, what's this boy trying to
Wash
say
your
here?
face.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So, but then the time is really like it's like immediate lah. I mean, we just go. Okay, it's just 10 minutes. It's not like we need to wake up early or something.
Yeah,
So
true.
there is a big like the time is a bit different. I mean, usually in office we'll go a bit early and try to leave back to house, and then the commute take a bit of time. But now
Yeah.
since we are at home, we can just close it whenever we are. But then the thing that often get to me is that how fast time flies at home. I mean, you wouldn't realize it, but you would be doing the work until 8 p.m. and you wouldn't realize it. If in office, you sure know your
Yes.
friend already pack up your bag.
Oh no, yeah.
There's
That's
Yeah,
signals.
the
There's
latest
signals to
is.
tell you. So
yes,
do
This
you
one also.
commute
This
on your
one
bed
also. This
then?
one also.
So
yes, Sarah.
instead of spending 1 hour on, I mean, taking the bus or LRT or
Mm, mm.
driving, so you spend the 1 hour commute on your bed lah.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
You
and
know what?
also can sleep a bit late at night lah.
Yeah, can sleep late at night. Do you know the funny thing is, I know it's very weird, but for me to maintain that discipline, do you know every day I wake up and I don't even do this in campus. You ask Alicia and Xiaosan. I wake up every day. I dress up in office wear, half. I'm wearing shorts at the bottom. I have to be honest about that. Wake up every day morning. I have my bath. I do makeup, which I don't usually do. Like when I say makeup for Cheryl standard is lipstick or long gloss lah. That's it lah. Nothing more than that. Okay. And I
That's
go
a
to
good
my
effort
office.
already.
I go to my office, which is opposite my master bedroom. When the connection works, if not, I'm in the hall. That's my routine every day since the 18th of March, and it hasn't changed. Can you imagine? And the first few days I woke up and did that, my husband was like, "Hello," and my husband is a foreigner, right? So my husband is like, "Hey, are you trying to? Where are you going?" I was like, "I'm going to work." He said, "Hey, they're serious, the police and army out there, you cannot go to work. I'm not joking." I was like, yeah, I'm just going here. Cannot. Nira is not that near. I'm like, so I moved to the next room. And he was like, "And why are you all dressed up?" I'm like, "Because I got work." He's like, "Okay, you have class?" I was like, "No, I have no class today, but you're all dressed up." I said, "Yeah, because I'm going to work." He's like, okay lah, do whatever you need to do. He didn't get it. But you see, for me, trying to keep that boundaries apart and know the difference between work and home, for me, that's how I do it. And at 5 or 6 o'clock, I try lah. Most of the time, I don't succeed. I go and have a bath and then I'm done for the day. But Miss Xiaosan and I have been working quite late the last few days. But
Yeah,
that's
tell
also
me about
because we're working on a couple of projects as well beyond our working hours, and we can only work after working hours. So yeah, that's a different story. But for me,
Yeah.
that's how I set my structure. What about the both of you?
Who's the both?
It's both.
The both of
There's
you,
quite a few
lah.
people here. Which one you're talking about?
I mean, any of you can answer, Xiaosan, if you know, or Alicia.
Yeah, I think Miss Wilson should answer.
Hey, Miss.
What? I think it's already quite obvious, isn't it, that my work from home is basically no life. Basically, I think I practically just work. Seriously, it was really tiring, to be honest. I think I work harder when I'm at home in comparison to working in the office. So if my boss is watching this, please, maybe you want to put me at home more, because I tend to be much more much more workaholic when I'm at home in comparison to working at work. To be honest, yeah, I actually spend longer time. I realized. I think Miss Cheryl knows this. I spend more longer time, and same thing as well. I think I have this kind of a mindset that this is my so-called secluded area. That once I set foot here, I know that I'm working. This is my so-called makeshift office kind of surrounding. That's what I do. Yeah, my cupboard, it's not a green screen, it's real. So yeah, so but compared to Miss Cheryl, I think I'm definitely more lazier lah. I would say I'm definitely lazier in a way that I don't take the kind of effort to put on makeup and like, hey, I'm prepared to work, because well, when I'm at work I look like this. Then what's the difference when I'm here? It should be the same, right? If not, my students cannot recognize me. Like, whoa, who is this? Who is this fella? Who is this being here? Who's all popped up for this? I don't need that. So yeah, let's not give students any shocking
False
advice.
impression.
But of course,
And lip gloss can do that. Lipstick can definitely do that. The moment you put some lip gloss, that's it. You're unrecognizable. What about Daniel and Alicia? What do you guys think?
For during the working from home period, you gotta start being creative somehow. So to convince myself to not get cabin fever, I just dressed up as if I'm going to like college like that. Even though from my room up to my dining table, I'm fine. As long as I can keep myself sane, I'm good. So
It's
for me, it's something
psychological.
like
It's psychological,
exactly
guys. It's
anything
not,
to
it's not
stay
Emrajin.
sane.
It's just psychological. It helps me keep in the zone. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. So me and Miss Cheryl are kind of like similar,
You can
except I
relate,
don't
right?
wear makeup.
Daniel,
Yeah.
what about you? Do you wear makeup?
I've done it before,
he's
but
taking
I
notes
don't
now.
do it regularly.
Not during COVID, though, yeah.
No, not during COVID.
But I would say that I think it's quite thankful that my students, when we start this new semester, that I think my students still can recognize me. Because I think Cheryl, you have seen the phase that my hair has gone through throughout the whole COVID situation, the MCO lockdown situation. It literally had turned white. My hair has turned white. It's to the extent that even I myself couldn't handle it anymore. That I need to get rid of this. So yeah, I did tell.
You guys, looking at this whole internship period, right? Do you think, because we're going towards the end of the show, right? I wanted to ask you guys, do you think if you had a chance to kind of rewind for your internship process, right? Do you think is there things that you wish you would have done differently before embarking on your internship period? If you can go back in time.
Before?
Yeah. Like, if you can go back in time before the internship started, was there anything you would have done differently? I mean, before internship,
For
not
me,
COVID
I
lah,
don't
but
think-
internship.
For me, I don't think I will change anything. I appreciate everything that I got during my internship. Yeah.
Of course, he already got the location that he wants to go to. What else you can ask
Penang.
for? Yeah.
I think for me, before I should have like take a whole week to navigate myself around KL rather than getting lost like numerous of times. So yeah, just to get myself like familiarized with the whole place. I don't know, maybe go shopping there once in a while so I know the shortcuts or whatever. So that's the thing I would do before I go for internship.
But
Definitely.
there's also a small tip for that lah. Usually, what I do before I start my job, I will actually take the route to go to office a day or two before I actually start work, to recognize, especially to finding parkings around there,
Yeah, cheap parking.
where you get parking, to familiarize the roads. At least I know which one is it and stuff like that, and also to see how's the traffic like as well. Yeah.
What about you, Daniel? Since you didn't choose your internship, but it chose you.
The
So
chosen one.
so he has nothing to prepare himself with.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but if you had a choice, would you do the same thing? Would you accept the internship? Would you have done things differently?
I mean, it depends lah. Like, would I be able to retain my current memory as I go back in time, or is it like a white?
Hey, this boy.
I need to know that.
He's thinking
You
the
think
whole,
too much.
the whole
So
X-Men
science fiction.
situation, he's going the all X-Men situations. Like, if I were to turn back time, will
Can
it
I
be
have my
future-
memory?
the future me and the past me and the whatever current me?
Yeah, exactly. Like it really depends on whether I have my memory or not.
Yeah. Because you possibly make the same choices if not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you believe in reincarnation, you do know that you don't come back with all your memories.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You have to you just think about it. Go like, this is so deja vu. I feel like I've been here before.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
I feel like I have done this work throughout my life.
Yeah.
Maybe the question should shift this way lah. Daniel, your current you, if it has the opportunity to turn back time and go into the time traveling machine to go back to the past you, what would you have said to the past you before you took up the job?
Now this is a well articulated question.
Yes.
Like this.
Now,
okay.
what's your answer?
I think it also again depends on the objective. Okay, so if I wanted my supervisors to see the growth that I've had during my internship, then I wouldn't change anything because I've made a lot of mistakes during my internship, and I would have wanted my past self to make the same mistakes so that they could see me changing and growing as my internship progresses, so they can see my growth. But if I don't care about my supervisors seeing my growth, which is I don't think the case, but if I had to choose option B, which is right now, then I would taken a list of things that I've done wrong, write down like what did I do wrong, how to do it properly actually, and then give it to him and say, okay, here, this is the list of things that you did wrong. Make sure you do it this way instead, so that you don't make the same mistake again, and then hopefully he'll do better lah. But again, probably the first one lah. I want my supervisors to see my growth, so I think that's more important.
Oh, smart answer.
Very, very, very.
I have a way to retaliate that as well, but I think I shall skip that part. There'll be a whole new passage after that. Yeah.
Fantasy world.
Hey, Daniel, somebody promoted that you can be a potential future politician. Not bad. So maybe moving out from anthropology.
GD.
Perhaps you should consider, taking up political science. Maybe that will help you better.
Oh my God! I just had this conversation just a few hours ago. I think this is God telling me a hint. I was talking to one of my friends, and then he said he stopped doing political science. And then I asked him why. He said, "Oh, too much math." And I hate math, so I think this is a sign telling me to not take up politics. So this is like
How can political science take up so much math?
I don't know. He just said the requirements require a lot of math. So this is my first time hearing it, but since it's his experience, I'll just believe in him lah, because it's the major he wanted to take, but then he had to drop it because of that reason. So a good enough reason for me to believe him lah.
So you're avoiding it because of math?
Yeah, I cannot do mathematics. But I can do everything lah.
Mathematics you cannot avoid for life, right?
That is correct. But I try to avoid it as much as I can lah.
I'm sure digital
marketing didn't do mass comm, right?
Well,
I'm surprised he didn't do mass comm because that's the usual reason, right?
Yeah, I didn't do mass comm.
He has a further future career pathway planned ahead. Okay.
Yeah. I probably would not
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
Actually, I might have chosen mass comm if I didn't take culinary arts. But oh well, it's what happened.
I can
What about
imagine
what
you
about
as a
Alicia?
celebrity chef actually.
Alicia, what about you? What's your thoughts?
What was the question?
We got so far back, right?
Exactly. I don't know which is
Talking
which.
No, I
the
think
articulated question by Miss Yi. Maybe you can take her question. Remember what she was
what
talking
was my
about?
question?
Going back in time. If
Oh,
you can go
oh,
back in
oh,
time,
oh, oh,
what
Oh
would you
wait, I
tell your
answered that,
past?
remember? I answered that. I said
yeah.
I would definitely like remember the routes back to from
No,
home.
no, but this question has changed. Remember, she said, "What would you
Ah,
tell yourself?"
all right,
Ah,
okay. What would I tell myself?
would you leave yourself letters? Secret
Let's turn
letters?
into a romance
Checklist.
story, miss. Oh my god. I'll just end at PS, I love you. Oh god, no. Um, what I would tell myself, I don't know, be more. I would say, well, after experiencing my internship thing, I'd say just be more you. Like the me that I realized when I'm at work is like actually quite good. I mean, sorry to compliment myself, but yes, I
Quite
do
good.
admit it. I mean, like because the friends that the friends that I've
You're
made there,
related to Miss Yi. You're related to Miss Yi then.
Why,
so she's my
why?
supervisor. Yeah, I would say like just be confident, be you, don't be scared. And what I've always told myself after being self-aware basically is that the most scariest decisions that you make can become your greatest change in life. Basically, doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative. But I realized that choosing this place at Sentul, which I do not know its existence until I went for the interview,
Yeah.
has really changed my whole like my
Perspective.
values, my morals, everything perspective. So yeah, it's all about the choices you make. Don't be scared, just go for it, basically. So I definitely would tell myself that.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
Let's
that
take
was
a
the need.
question from the audience. Before that, Raja says, small tips to those who are watching. Make sure you guys are good in terms with the supervisor and lecturers from your uni. They're the closest source for anything better than Google sometimes. So
Wow. So
they're
now we are
comparing us
better
to
than
Google.
Google.
Wow, that's a big compliment though.
I do
So
not know
we
whether is that a compliment or not, but
I don't know.
I don't want to be
However you
associated with
Google.
Google search, I don't want to be associated with a search engine.
Okay, we have a question. I just want to take a question before we wrap up with our last question. Yeah. What is the best moment you've had during your internship experience? That's by Naz Daniel. Oh,
Okay,
must
so
think so hard.
yeah, I'll start first. So I think the best experience is for me is meeting and connecting with new people. Yeah, because if Sharon know lah, I like to like meet new people, like talk to them, know their story and something like that. So for me is I wouldn't imagine that I can get a lot of friends like Alicia mentioned eating alone at a lunch and something like that, but I never have to go through that because even in the first day we will like get someone to like accompany us and get to know them, like get to know their different life background, life situation, how's the working condition for them. So I think it's a good experience and it's a good moment for me to know different kind of people from different background. Like Daniel mentioned, different realities. Yeah.
Catchphrase,
Yeah.
catchphrase.
Yes.
So Daniel, you want to
Anyone
chip
else?
in?
I think
Best
ladies first.
moments.
Alicia,
Apa
please.
ni? I feel like Daniel is taking the time to like,
Yeah.
let's think
I
of
think it's
what more we
taking a
can
note,
add to the
taking notes.
question so we can ask back. What should we ask them back and make it more difficult so they don't know what to ask me? It's like he's scheming.
Oh my God! Please don't kantor me.
Don't sangkut you.
Don't go reveal all his
Alicia.
secrets, okay? Don't go reveal all his secrets, okay?
You can't blame us. We are communicators, so we think in a very weird sometimes way. Alicia, so what's your best moment since he's thrown it to you now?
Wow, just pass the ball, no problem. Uh, the, the best moment for me is like similar to Sharwin, meeting new people. when, like, as I said, that I'm so scared of like who am I gonna go lunch with? I'm gonna go alone. But the moment I stepped in and like got to know a few, they just immediately were really friendly. You know what? Come on, just join us, no problem. And that has become a tradition as other interns come in. Even I also have like accustomed to that tradition. Like, come on, let's go. Like, to not have everyone be left behind. It's like teamwork, cooperation, friendship is really important. Maintaining relationships, and during my internship period, I went for my first hiking trip. It was really amazing, like for the first time I'm going. And one unfortunate incident that actually happened, I actually sprained my thumb and it's on my dominant hand. And ironically, I'm a communication assistant. My job is to write. I have to write everything and all that. But surprisingly, my colleagues, they were very nice. You know what? The moment they saw my bandage hand, they were like, you know what? Go back. What are you doing here? Just go. What are you doing at work? So I was like, whoa, this is not what I expected. So I was like, you know what? I'm staying. I'm staying here. No problem. I can do my work. I have another hand. So yeah, well, the meeting new people is really the best thing that I've experienced so far, and maintaining the relationships that until now we are still communicating. So it's really fun.
That's good.
Oh,
That's you.
Daniel.
That's you. You're the last one.
The ball is
You're the last one.
Okay, okay. Sure,
Unless
sure.
you're throwing the ball to me, which clearly is not related to me at all. But yeah.
Okay, sure, sure, sure. To be honest, I don't think I had any best moment from my internship experience. I think why that is because as I've mentioned, I don't have any qualification yet. I'm in a job, right? So I mean, I do believe that you don't necessarily need a qualification in order to perform in a job, unless it's like doctor or whatever lah. But I do think, but because I didn't have the qualification, I did feel the societal pressure, unintentionally, that am I going to be incompetent and not be able to have as much skill or knowledge as everyone else who already has a degree. The degree doesn't dictate everything, but I just feel that pressure. Like I felt like I was lacking something that everyone else in my team had. So and also I'm like, this is my first job. Everyone else here is like professional, so I'm like the bottom of the barrel in my team lah. So because of that, my feeling of incompetency was quite solid lah in my job experience. However, okay, so relating back to why I don't have any best moment. So yeah, because throughout my internship, I always felt like I was incompetent. But however, I do feel like I've had a lot of valuable moments in my internship that I would define as my small best moments lah. So these small best moments I would define as like the gems of the times in my internship that I would cherish as my gems, because there were times that maybe my senior told me a good job, or told me, hey Daniel, you did good here, keep it up. And it's these sort of moments that I would take as my mini best moments throughout my internship that I would actually answer as my best moments in my internship.
That's good. That's good. Anything else, Miss Cheryl?
Cool. We have another question. Would y'all be okay to answer that? We have
no problem.
I'm assuming it's from your friend, is it? Then do you know this person, Nabila?
Oh, that's my
Nabila
friend.
Marisha. Oh, your friend. Okay, she says,
Yeah,
what is
Daniel
your
and Nabila.
strategy to bring new norm or your uni in-house style in your internship place? What is your strategy to bring new norms or your uni in-house style in your internship place? I'm not quite certain what that means.
I think what she means is, what did you do to ensure that your new normal in your house was able to accommodate your internship lifestyle? I mean, that's how I interpret it. I don't know actually. Maybe someone else has a different interpretation.
Yeah, I think it's something like, what is your strategy that from work from home now you're shifting it back to workplace, the new type of work from home? What is the strategy of it? I think
so.
Hey, don't copy my interpretation lah. Have your own interpretation.
Yeah, you're expected
your
lah.
own.
You're expected what will be at the workplace when you go back there. The new norm.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, what's your expectation?
I'm just staring at the question.
I'm facing anxiety, Sharwin. I'm facing anxiety right now. Did you hear what I just said? That if my boss is watching this, I think I'm more productive at home. That's what I'm saying. because going back to work is like how Alicia is feeling when her first time is going to work. That's how I'm going to feel when I'm going back to work. Everything feels new to me again. It's like, oh gosh, now I have to retrack back who are these people, how do I get used to meeting these people right now, and how should I associate and say hi to these people again in a new type of way of saying hi to them, and then
Hand
getting used
sanitizer.
and then getting used of seeing their face all covered in masks. So that is a new way of seeing, going back to work. So I'm facing a little anxiety, and one of the worries is definitely because of my work office. We share a similar a same
Same room,
workspace,
4 of
same
us or
room,
3 of us.
in four people in one place. So I'm not too sure about the social distancing part, because clearly we are all sharing the same air that we're breathing in the room. So that's practically a bit worried. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of feeling a bit anxious. I don't know, Cheryl. Maybe you feel differently about your view going back to work, but that's what I'm feeling right now.
Do you guys have any answers for Nabila as an
Wait,
intern? Like,
Mm,
I mean, going back to the
is
Has
workplace?
anyone of you gone back to work, like officially gone back to office?
No,
no.
they
No,
haven't. Yeah.
no. Yeah, so I guess it's a bit different to answer this question, because they have yet to experience about going back to work in order for them to feel like how is the shift has changed, or is there any
But she's
new.
asking what is your strategy, right? So what
Yeah,
would
but
you do?
what is your
Like, what could you
strategy?
do? What strategies can you bring back with this new norm that we have?
My
I
strategy
guess
is
it's up to the management lah. Yeah,
yeah.
even in my call today we have a call with our, like, a person in charge of our whole floor. So she was like asking me, last time how was your distance with the person that's sitting beside you? How much is the
Mm.
distance? I was thinking like, how much is the distance? Then she say, is it 1 meter or 1 meter plus? I say, 1 meter plus, but it doesn't often matter because we always go together to do work. It's just
Yeah.
less than 1 meter. Then she say, maybe if you return to office after this, we maybe they will vacate like one place to
Yeah.
another. Like you have one place vacate. So I think it purely depends on the management decision and
Right.
how we want to do it, and we also need to adapt to it lah. And also the lift. There's the part where's the lift. Our lift is always crowded during lunchtime because it's
Oh,
like two companies together, and there's the mall beside.
no
And
lunch, Arvin. No lunch for you then. Just
yeah,
don't
that's
go out for
why.
lunch.
Then we was
Just bring
thinking,
your
wow.
nice tiffin carrier and eat in your space.
Yeah, I
Charmaine, I
think
think
that will do that.
one of the strategy which I'm going to apply as well is I'm not going to see Miss Cheryl at work. I'm just going to avoid her.
As
Yeah,
it
I'm not
is
going to
now,
see her.
also during MCO, she can't help but see me every day.
As it is that I'm seeing you every day already. So I think maybe going back to work, I don't want to see you anymore.
No, I think you just video
We'll see,
call. No
we'll
need
see.
to see
Video
physical.
call, yeah, yeah. Video call each
Like,
other.
I'm here. Okay, I
What
think
about Daniel
Raja.
and Alicia? Anything to add? Oh, no idea. I think Nabila or
Strategies. Yeah.
someone else who is interpreting the
Raja.
question.
How
I
did
think
you
what
bring your
Nabila meant.
style of working and approaches to your internship? How you had the
How did
confidence and what are your pitching tips? Okay, this is getting even more scratchy lah.
yeah, like
I
a
think
few
they don't.
questions.
maybe
We're
it's
supposed to
like
be wrapping up, but they don't want you all to go suddenly.
exactly this is the the consequences.
Happy
I
to answer
feel
more
like
questions.
yeah, I mean
Are you guys
that's how
okay?
attentive we
Okay
are.
to continue and answer questions? Are you all good?
Yeah,
We're all at home
Okay.
only, that's all.
we're all at home. We have nowhere to go. No
Nowhere to
worries.
go. My
Nowhere to
next
go.
business is at the kitchen.
You know what I made my students do today? Maybe you guys should. I'm going to make you guys do that as well. But I made my students to go and show his house, bring us for
Oh
a
my
house tour.
god.
And TV Creep, he
Wow.
literally brought, oh, this is my mom's room. They're gonna show the
Oh
portrait
my
of the wedding
god.
picture. I'm
So
like,
like,
dude. I don't want to see that. And then he wanted to open the bathroom and say, this is a bathroom. It's okay. I don't want to see the bathroom. I said, okay. And this is I was like, okay, too much information. I regretted asking that. Okay.
Okay, come back. Let me
Yes.
pull all of you back. There's a question. We still have a question.
Uh,
Okay. So how did you bring your style of working and approaches to your internship? Your style of working and approaches when you went for your internship. How
I kind of like
you have
asked
the
my friend
confidence.
what her question
Yeah.
meant. That's the most
Oh, you
easiest way to
did?
go. Yeah. I mean, she explained it. Basically, she said, how do you guys bring because we've always already accustomed ourselves of our
Yeah.
working style at home already, right? So how are we gonna bring that style back to the work life? Not just, I think maybe not just internship. How do you bring that to office now? Because basically our whole reason to stay at home is to avoid, COVID and whatnot, don't get the virus. And now we can't our norms in the office has changed. We can't sit together so close.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe they're
So
just
it's
asking like,
facing the
what's your
new,
strategy?
facing the new SOP that you have to adhere to right now. Yeah. So that's my strategy. My strategy is to avoid seeing Cheryl and to avoid seeing anyone and try to convince my boss maybe it's best for me to work from home.
Yeah, I think we can all convince our bosses. Right?
So any
I
other
don't know.
strategies? Any smart strategy that you would like to
Daniel, do
apply?
you have any strategies?
I think Daniel will have interesting one.
Yeah.
Then trying
Uh,
to convince his boss that we are now in a different reality. So we need to shift to another dimensional
she's
We
bringing
are
reality.
back
in the COVID reality now.
yeah, true. Um, well, Nabila, hello. I don't exactly have an answer for you, but I think I can goreng one for you right now, lah. So,
Goreng.
basically, I think it really depends on the worker themselves. If
Yeah.
the worker has been really grinding and doing, all the work they've been able to do at home, I just encourage you to bring that same motivation, determination, and gung ho energy into the work, and just show your boss that if despite COVID-19, lockdown, work from home, you're still doing your work the best you can at the office, even after all these changes. It will show your boss that you're adaptable and determined. So if you've
Wow.
been, really doing it at home, just carry it over. If you are on the other side of the spectrum where you have been not doing so much work at home, then I suggest, now is the time for you to realize that, okay, this time working at home has been your charge up time to charge up your energy so that now when you go back to work, you show your boss that you are actually not what you've been doing at home. You're actually full gung ho energy. So it's just take. So yeah, if you've always been doing well, just bring it. If not, now's your time to be sentient, be self-aware, and just put the gears on and do really well when you come back to work. Your charge time has been during the work from home. So yeah, that's my advice, my strategy.
Good.
Okay. Alicia, anything?
anything to
Anything?
bring that to bring the style of how we work from home to office is
I will have
kind
a
of difficult.
suggestion for you.
Can I bring
Like
my
you said,
bed?
no, I will have a suggestion for you. You say I dressed up, looking like as if I'm prepared to go to college. I think you need to dress up to go to work. That's what you need to
But
do
it's
to
so
work.
hot.
But Alisa, do you know that in some companies they do have such facilities? I mean, when I went for this training interview, this was many years ago, probably 10 years ago. There was one room which is like a sleep room. You can just go in there to re-energize.
Oh,
And it was like a small company. It's not one of those MNCs or what, just like a tiny shop house kind of thing. But they had that whole Zen idea. They had a feature area with water. They really, I think the boss really believed in, but I was young then when I went for the interview the whole night. I'd stayed out. So when I went for the interview, I was brain dead. I just couldn't think. I regret it completely. I was very young. So I went for the interview very ill prepared, I have to say. But a lot of companies do have those kind. Maybe things will change, I guess. Looking at the possibilities, maybe not today or tomorrow, but maybe down the line, companies will change the way they look at their staff because they've realized that, hey, my workers can work at home. It has worked, you see. Maybe they will change their culture. I don't know. And maybe you'll have a bed at work. I don't know. Maybe a beanbag would be a compromise, a good
oh my
compromise.
God.
A
But there
bit
are
maybe
companies that have
hard.
that kind of facilities and features.
Yeah, they do, they do.
They do have that.
Got
Yeah,
a
we
Sharvin
even
in your company. Is there a
Got
bed?
got beanbag
A
yeah.
and
beanbag,
also
yeah.
pantry area. Yeah.
Yeah, pantry area. I used to have this company that has punching bag, a pool table, a PS
Yeah, we
station.
have the football
Mm,
one.
Yeah,
futsal.
Yeah.
What they call it? Foosball.
football,
Foosball. Is it?
football.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Daniel, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, so sorry. Is it okay if I give one more answer to Nabila?
Sure, you can give two.
It feels like you wanted to ask her for a number instead.
No.
Yeah,
That's the
I
question
I
think
that
he
you
can
has
want
just
to
a
ask.
ask her,
girlfriend. I think he has a girlfriend. I don't know. I can't remember.
I mean, I'm open to networking, but yeah, this is just another answer to the question.
Open to
Okay,
networking.
yeah. Okay, so Nabila, I don't know like if you already are working in your job or you're going to get a new job soon. Hopefully, I don't know. But hopefully this answer is relevant and helpful for you. Okay, so basically, I took an online class by this startup company called Go Monster. Here, I'll just put their Instagram in the chat for you guys to see. So basically, I took an online class with them, and they suggested that this work from home is actually a valuable opportunity for us fresh grads, because if we are able to identify and realize our strengths from working from home, maybe you're able to identify what is your routine, what do you do to ensure that you work productively while working from home. I don't have my notes with me, but these are just some things off the top of my head. So basically, as a fresh graduate, if you're able to identify what you being capable working from home, it will show your employer that you are one of those graduates that are able to enter this new work lifestyle of working from home. Because ever since COVID-19, I think probably a lot of companies are going to start working from home, and we're not gonna. Some companies are probably not gonna go back to physical, but maybe some will. But basically, if your company that you're applying to is concerned about your capability of working from home, if you just show that in your resume, have a small section that says, this is just a suggestion. I'm not saying this is like a must do. It's just an idea that I learned from the class. That if you have a small section in your resume that says your strengths as working from home, your routine, what you do to ensure productivity, how you take care of yourself, how you ensure that you get your job done. If you show that in your resume, then the employer looking at it will realize, well, this fresh graduate is capable of working from home. So if I hire them and we suddenly need to make all our employees work from home, this new employee will be able to do it. So that's just one advice that I learned from that class that I like to carry over to your question, and hopefully it'll be relevant and value adding to you, Nabila. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to everyone
I
else
think
who's watching.
I think there are also companies right now who are currently offering vacancy positions that are already considering coming up with new positions. Their requirement is just working from home, but required them to do certain tasks.
Yeah.
That means they're open to hire people working from home already. So I guess which means that new job opportunity out there will be catered towards this kind of style of working, because they never know how long this is going to last. So now they're already in consideration of giving you job opportunities, preparing you to just work from home. So I think that could be a possibility to think about as well.
Okay, so let's wrap up. It's almost 10:30 already. Okay,
Wow.
let's wrap up. Although you guys are at home, I do have a 2-year-old that I have to tend to in a short while.
Yeah,
Eh, I have let my husband work overtime already too much this whole week.
Wrap up
So
by Cheryl answering my question, my first question.
no.
I'm
So
wow.
still awaiting. I'm still
let's end.
awaiting for it.
Okay, I'm not one of the parents. Let's end with this question, right? What is the advice you guys who have been through internship and also now already working, what advice can you give to those looking for internship right now, or maybe those who are going to look for internships? What advice would you give them? Whether it's talking about looking for what kind of internships to experiences while they are at internship, anything. What advice would you give them? Go ahead. Let's make
Okay.
Daniel go first.
Yes, I was just about to say.
Oh, okay. Well, again, unfortunately, I cannot directly answer this question because I cannot relate to the problem to begin with. I never looked for an internship to begin with, so I don't have any
Doesn't
insight.
matter. I'm asking you to give them advice now based on your experience of having an internship. You might
Yeah,
not
yeah,
look for it, but you've had one now. So officially,
yeah.
chopped,
I
you've
can.
had an internship.
I think borrowing something lah. Okay, so basically, okay, well, two things. One is that I got my internship because I was just doing my best as I volunteered, right? So I
Yes.
think that's already one strong point where if you ever volunteer or do something for someone, do it for another company probably, or yeah, volunteering. If you as long as you do your best, hopefully maybe they'll take notice of you and they'll see what kind of person you are, and then maybe they'll consider you for an internship lah. But that's just like really one in a million that happened to me lah. So maybe that's not so relevant, but hopefully it's relevant to you guys. The second thing is that this is again another thing that I learned from an online class from the same startup company that I learned from, which is Go Monster. Basically, their advice was that when you're looking for a company to intern in or to work in, make sure you really do your research on that company online prior to the interview, and make sure that all the information that you can get online you know beforehand, so that when you meet them in person, you don't ask them the very simple surface questions that they wouldn't be probably too happy to answer, right? If you show that you've done your research, that, oh, by the way, I've researched your company and I found this, not say like that lah, but say as in you have a question that would require them to answer you rather than googling it because you can't find it, right? Then it'll show them that, wow, this person actually took the effort to find out about our company and is actually going this length just to try to join us. So it shows how dedicated you are, as opposed to them thinking that you're someone that just took your resume, copy paste 100 times and then sent to 100 different companies, and then they'll think like, oh, I'm just another company that you're hoping that I will say yes to, as opposed to them seeing that, wow, this person actually took the effort and time to research us and they're interested to know, and they're asking all these very very specific, deep questions. So it'll show that you put in effort. So that's one thing that I would give as advice if you're looking for a company to intern in.
Okay, that's good advice, I think. Even though you thought you were goringing, but I thought that was good advice, and that is some things that we actually do before we join companies. Always have questions to ask. That's an important point. It makes you look very smart. Especially have a little notebook there and you go like, oh, interesting. And then, any questions? Yes, actually, I have quite a few. Can I ask? And then they'll be like, okay, I didn't expect her to say anything. And then you've got these questions to ask them. So they're always not prepared, because most interns especially, or even people who want to interview, don't really have anything to ask. They're just waiting to consume. So I think that's a fantastic point, actually. Amazing. Sharvin or Alicia? Advice to our little young young ones.
Young ones.
Sharwin, go first.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so for me, right, I will just remind them to not to stay with their comfort zone, get out of it. By getting out of comfort zone, I mean like okay, for example, like you are studying in a certain environment. For example, you're studying in marketing. In marketing itself, there's a lot of scope in which there is a desk job in which you do all the job sitting there all the day. And then there is the people's person where you go under sales. It's also marketing, but this one is you go out, meet people all the day. And there is also something like maybe the industrial sales. So in order for you like to know like how each and everything is, instead, I mean, it's good to hear from people, but it is different to taste it yourself. I mean, it's different to be in that situation yourself compared to other people. The people might say, oh, this work is tiring, you better not go for it. But you didn't know you might like it in the first place. And you might not like the job that these people like. So I think internship, as Cheryl already mentioned, is like a test drive for you. It's a given opportunity that is very valuable. I was if you have a chance, I would suggest you to go, like if your courses or your lecturers can like arrange for internship more than once. Like for me, I went twice or something like that. I would recommend you to take it and try different type of industrial, different type of position inside the field that you are pursuing on, so that after your internship period you will be like you wouldn't have a second thought on where to continue your job, and also on how you want to, whether you want to resign or not. I mean, getting a job is very different from getting an internship. People will offer you an internship much easier than giving you a real job, because a real job takes a more procedure, and if you resign it will cost you like in your CV there will be the other company people asking why you resign this immediately. They will think like you are not capable to survive like every 1 year if you change company. So I think internship is a good platform for you to utilize it well, for you to know your own potential. Yep, that's all for me.
And Alicia.
All good. All good words, all good point. I'm gonna like remember it forever. But for me, it's like I mentioned my quote before that
Yeah.
the most scariest choice to make can be the greatest change in your life. And that really resonates to me is that sometimes that choice may make you nervous, your heart beats, makes you really anxious. But if you don't try, you won't know. Like as Sharwin said, go out of your comfort zone, go for it, just do it, even if it scares you. In an internship, it's all about trying. With internship is basically as what was mentioned before, it's a test drive. So if you don't test it, you won't buy that car basically. If it's not nice, then you go find another car. It's simple as that. And it's all about like being confident in yourself. Don't try to fit in, because if you fit in, then it wouldn't make you stand out, because we are all different in many ways. We're all different like flowers like that. So just go out, show your the best version of yourself. That's what I would say. Even though you're gonna make mistakes, uh you're gonna learn from it anyways, because that's the whole point of life basically. Yeah, so that's my advice.
Adapt to the
Wow.
new reality.
Adapt to the new reality. You guys have been amazing. The insights we've got from the three of you is really, really great. I mean, the kind of knowledge that you guys have kind of acquired is mind blowing. I'm very, very impressed with all of you. I'm so happy to see young minds like that, and I hope that the viewers are actually listening and paying attention to the nuggets of wisdom that you guys have kind of explained to them and throughout our conversation. And I have to say, this has been our longest conversation ever, whether it was on the Me series or the
And
graduate
for the
show.
first
This is
time,
our
we're doing it
longest.
in YouTube Live some
Yes,
more.
on YouTube Live. This is the first time actually, and we are hitting 2 hours in a few
Oh my
seconds
gosh.
actually. So thank you
Wow.
guys very much.
Thank you so
Thanks for
much.
watching the Almost Graduate Show. Uh, Signing off. Bye guys. Bye.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you,
guys. It
bye.
was
Bye.
very
Thank
lovely. See you guys
you.
again.